I just want to stress something so people can embrace this. Is that when you are reading the book or you're researching biblical stories and whatever, don't get caught in the trap of thinking that the book is a chronological thing. It's been put in that order, and people read it and they read about the Exodus, and they would think that it's something that happened thousands of years ago, and the world's a stage, and whatever the people imagine will be possible for them. So if people imagine that Noah's Ark landed on Mount Ararat, then the stage will produce Noah's Ark. Now, for those that are seeking truth, to raise themselves, to lift themselves up, to lift their consciousness, they will start to understand that the book it's not linear. Because when you get lifted up, your thinking is no longer linear. You're not bound by 3D. You're outside of the box, and you're thinking when you're in a valley, your field of view is very limited because you're low. And in a valley, you're low and little. But if you're on top of a mountain, you have a great view. And your perspective is high and grandiose. And you have a huge vista. And that's what raised consciousness is like. And the more your consciousness increases, the more it gathers. It's increasing, and this thing it's not bound. There's no limits to this. So trying to express concepts like infinity, even the word infinity, it's in finite, infinity. So it's inside something, but it's outside of in. It supersedes language, and it makes it indefinable. And but without getting into semantics and too much detail, what the point I'm trying to make is that the book, it's happening now, right now. All over the world, people are experiencing Genesis. The snake is going into the Garden of Eden. In other words, the Kundalini is going into people's brains. People are experiencing spontaneous awakenings. Other people are consciously trying to wake themselves up. And the meditations, that is the Exodus. The Israelites, Ishi Sarah El, those that struggle or endure with God, their brain, trying to overcome the programming of a lifetime of bullshit. And the unified field recognizes that when you're in the wilderness and you're crying out, when a child's lost in the wilderness, Dad's out there looking for it. Get it? And this is symbolic speech. So, it's not about taking these things literally. It's about understanding the implications. What is Danny implying there? Is Danny implying that when I'm meditating, I'm actually in the wilderness? Yeah. the wilderness of consciousness, you know, where everything comes from, limitless potential. And you're in there, stumbling about in the dark, looking for the light. But the light's looking for you. It'll meet you halfway. Meditation. Medi means middle, halfway. So, be under no illusions, people. The Exodus is in full effect. It's happening right now. Millions of people are meditating, tapping in. So I've alluded to the fact that there is a shift in the balance of power between those that think they have it and those that don't think and know they have it. Meditation, see? We are ruled by intellectual arseholes. Now, this is happening, it's global. And they can't stop it. They're attempting to, but they can't. This is ordained. And in the scriptures it says that fire will come from the heavens. And that's the baptism of fire, where you're tested by fire. And you'll survive because the Father's good. He's light. There's no darkness in him. And when he comes in there and he lights you up, he'll take your, he banishes your darkness. So that's the baptism of fire. Now, those that don't have the baptism within, they'll experience it without. The scoffers, those that rejected simple wisdom, simple knowledge, simple. Nothing I have told any of you is complicated. It's all been really simple. Because the truth is simple. It's not complex. I could spend hours talking about some things, but they don't serve you. I could talk about cosmic coincidences, and no doubt you'll go on the internet and type in cosmic coincidences and be looking at stuff and feeding your mind, which is time that you could have spent within, looking for your Father, and your Father would be looking for you to meet halfway. There's a parable of the I forget what it's called. The parable of the prodigal son. And he's with his dad. And he wants to leave home, but he wants his brother's inheritance. So the father gives him his brother's inheritance. And he leaves home and he's off downtown. And he's living with life and he's blown all his inheritance. And then he's eating with the pigs. And then he realizes that he's eating with the pigs, man. And then he wants to return home. He recognizes his position. And he starts to go home. And on the way home, he meets the workers. And the workers go back and tell the father. And the father comes running down the road to meet the prodigal son. Halfway. So, when you're on your journey in the wilderness, don't despair. Don't. Just be out there fearless. Trust me, this shit works. And the Exodus is in full effect. And anybody that goes into the darkness and ventures out there into the abyss, looking for their light, that light will be looking for you. Make no mistake. And these things, you know, these things are so profoundly simple, but we've been educated in a society that is so programmed to complexity. And it's this complexity which is eating with the pigs. And for so long, our heads have been held in the trough, eating the swill, not even having time to chew the cud. Look at school, 45 minutes of maths, getting your fucking head fucked. Right, out of maths, now you're into fucking French. Bon, merci, oui, oui. Getting your head fucked with French, and then you leave French, and then you're into Latin. Just like 45-minute educational rape sessions. The fuck is that about? Compartmentalizing everything. Never having time to really chew the cud or understand, just getting washed along on a tidal wave of shite. And they wonder why we fucking hated school. And the more covered in shit we get, the light just withdraws from you. But it's there. It's there. It's in the darkness. And every time you go into meditation, you're going into the wilderness. And you're crying out in the desert like John the Baptist, who was the reincarnation of Ezekiel. Was it Ezekiel? Yeah. And Jesus said that nobody is greater than him. Oh, you see? The voice in the wilderness. Shouting things like, the one that comes after me is far greater than I am. He made such a fuss that all the religious wankers came down there to see what he was up to. And he would call them vipers, hypocrites. It's because the people in the wilderness recognize the bullshitters. They can see it's all lies. So if it's all lies outside, there has to be truth inside. Exodus. Remember in the Exodus, the pharaohs were chasing the Israelites across the Red Sea, which is the cerebrospinal fluid in the spinal cord. And there came a great wave and washed all the pharaohs away. Washes all your karma away. All your bad thoughts, all your fears, just washes it all away, kills it all, killed the pharaoh. There you go. Simple allegories. So the Exodus is in full effect. I've no doubt.